Well, a recent report found that builders' productivity has declined since the 1970s, with one builder attributing the slowdown to factors including planning, red tape and increased smartphone use.
Well, according to Bricky Mark Lenihan, the decline has contributed to Britain's chronic housing shortage by slowing the delivery of new homes.
Yes, and here to speak to us now was the Director of Policy and Market Insights at the National Federation of Builders, Rico Wojtulewicz. Good morning, Rico. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Tell us a little bit more about what's going on here, because our government wants to build, build, build. It's saying we're going to build more council houses, build more homes across the UK. But at the same time, reports are suggesting holding us back is all of this red tape.
Good morning, and for my own health and safety, I've been pushed in the garage today because the children got a terrible night, so we all have to follow some rules. So apologies for the background. Look, the piece is really interesting by Mark and the comments made because, and I'm going to give you a lot of credit here, because you often talk about the biggest issue here, and that's the planning system and the way the system is shaped, whereby it's very big companies that don't directly employ. It's really big contractors that subcontract at the lowest price. And you always give me a platform to discuss that, because actually industry knows that's the biggest issue for productivity, because if you can't control your direct workforce, it's much harder to meet health and safety regulations. And health and safety is one of these funny things. We've had a massive decrease in deaths, and that's fantastic. Many people will say, have we gone too far? We've just had the Building Safety Act and the Building Safety Regulator. It took 2 years to make changes that actually operated. It still very much favours the very big company, because you've got all this paperwork. In fact, you're better not to employ a tradesperson, but to have an administrator just to get these regs over the line. And it means that, especially if you're a smaller company, and they're 99% of builders out there, they perhaps go a little bit over the top to try and meet the regs, to prove that competency. And we have courses to try and help members meet those regs more easily, but they say, but I don't need to put this in and this in and this in. And it's those smaller companies that really desperately try and meet all the regs, and that's the problem government doesn't quite understand. When they try and fix something, they actually disproportionately impact the most productive companies.
What changes would you like to see, Rico, in order for the industry to open up, to allow people like yourself to build, build, build?
Well, look, really, this is primarily about the planning system. And when I say planning, I don't mean you just get a planning permission. It's it takes a while. You do your due diligence. You can spend £150,000 to get, say, a development of 30 to a decision. That's not a yes or a no for planning. But let's say you get planning, it can take 18 months on a site of up to 50, or 16 months, and then takes 18 months to cross the T's, dot the I's, and then you can actually put a shovel in the ground. And then throughout that whole process, you have to sign off loads of planning conditions, and then that gets signed up by the planning departments if other departments have time to actually say yes and no to the things you're doing. And then you might have stuff like preoccupation conditions, which means you can't sell the property until you meet another condition. So when we talk about planning, and thanks, you guys always let me talk about this, it's this whole plethora of challenges. And if you think you're an employer, you're effectively taking the risk to employ somebody for 18 months, 2 years, 3 years on a small project, just to not pay them to maybe get planning over the line before you realise anything. And that is what this government has to solve. And back on the health and safety thing, yesterday we had actually a very good announcement that 14-year-olds will be doing vocational studies, where you're going to have to change the health and safety regulations to enable them to get on site, because currently, good luck getting somebody of 14 on a construction site.
Yeah, this is so true.
That's a fantastic point.
Yeah, Rico, thanks for joining us. I think this is so important, because we do need to build more homes, because it's putting up the price, making it impossible for younger generations to get in the housing market. It's making it very difficult for people to get mortgages. It's also, social housing is completely full. And so if we really do want to build and give people homes, we have to do this stuff. Rico, thank you very much for joining us to share those reasons why. Thank you.